This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook. I have the philanthropreneur. That's right, the CEO of Verb Technologies, Rory Cutaia. Welcome to the Playbook, Rory. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Dave. I'm happy to be here with you.
I'm really happy to have you here. You know, we were talking previously about the importance of business, but how it impacts everyone else. And I was so blessed to have you on here because your perspective of business is the same as mine. It's really about what can I receive to give away? And as a public company, a lot of people don't realize that you're sharing your profit. Your shareholders are our communities, are our country, and you are the type of entrepreneur that really changes and impacts everything we do beyond the cool innovation that allows even more companies to make more money. So I thought we'd start with, where did that philosophy come from to, provide an abundance to give it away?
Oh, that's first of all, thank you for that, and I do share that philosophy that you have. Look, it starts from way back with an expression that I often heard. What goes around comes around, and I really do subscribe to that. The good that you do comes back to you, and throughout my life, I could name countless experiences that I've had where that was absolutely the case. And I think that look, today, the world that we live in today, you almost don't even want to turn on the news. Our country is so divided. People are so divided. We need something, some catalyst that will allow people to recognize how much good we can do when we come together. We have so much more in common than we do separately. And we need some catalyst to help us recognize that again, because right now, what you see and read every day, it's more and more divisiveness. So to the extent that we can help recognize how strong we can be together, what we can accomplish together, the change that we can make when we work together, it's what the world needs right now. And to the extent we could play any part in that, by allowing companies, by allowing individuals to utilize our services, give back. I know you're a big proponent of that. I love that philanthropist, moniker you just ascribed to me. I really appreciate that. But I want to do more as a company. We want to do more. And with the innovation that I think we'll talk about today, our new products and services, we fully expect to do substantially more. We're going to make a profit. We're going to do extraordinarily well. Our shareholders are going to be very happy because, yes, as a public company, we're sharing the profits and all the good that flows from the things that we do as a team. But all of us need to do more, and we're happy to be a part of that.
And philanthropy is so important to both of us, but also advocacy. Both of us have a legal background. You have been an advocate for entrepreneurs for so long, and understanding the critical business issues from being an advocate, and also the emotional issues that were involved because you were utilizing and helping them in certain situations where, I always say, as a lemon gets squeezed, lemon juice comes out. We really know what's inside of an entrepreneur, both of us. But there's so many different skills that you learn as an attorney, as an entrepreneur, and as an advocate. And you've applied those to help enhance, or kind of, Verb and Verb Live, it's an advocate for e-commerce, and it's an advocate of using skills, knowledge, and of course your desire to effectuate abundance or revenue. How exactly did you create the idea and then implement it to such a great scale where you're now, this extraordinary revenue generating machine on the NASDAQ?
So it goes back to the realization with the advent of, obviously, internet, the proliferation of mobile devices, the improvements in technology that allow us to have video available over the internet, and the amount of information available in the palm of our hands 24/7. So with that as a backdrop and as a foundation, if you will, we began to pay close attention to people's habits. And what we learned is that over the past several years, people have stopped wanting to read anything, right? Think about newspapers, magazines. Today, people want to consume information by watching videos, and now they want to share information through videos. So, so that was sort of the starting point. Now, for us, putting my profit motive hat on, and how do I create value for ourselves and our shareholders? It wasn't hard to recognize that SaaS-based businesses, software as a service, and in particular those in the CRM space, and I'm going to refer to CRM broadly and narrowly as sales tools. It wasn't hard to recognize that those kinds of companies were getting the highest multiples, the highest valuations. And I come from a background after I left law and started a telecom technology business originally. That business was valued on a multiple of earnings, of EBITDA. Well, that's changed, especially today in a company like ours. Our value is a multiple of revenue. So we want to stay very focused on growing top line and recognizing that if we're in the SaaS space, in the CRM, and sales tool space, we're going to get the highest market multiple. Now, I'd be being completely transparent and honest. If you looked at our company today, you'll see that we're not getting the highest multiple. I don't even think we're getting a multiple that's even fair for what we're doing. But that's because we're still relatively unknown. Yeah, we've had 5-6 quarters of growth, quarter over quarter, and that's fantastic. And yes, I expect that to continue. And we'll talk about some of the hyper growth initiatives that we've got planned that I think people are going to be really excited about. And I'm hopeful that translates into a higher multiple applied to us for our share price and our shareholders. But getting back to the point, once we recognize that that's the place we wanted to be, that's the sector we wanted to play in because of the multiples, then we took a look at, well, who's in the space? What are they doing? And of course, the big names come to mind, NetSuite, Salesforce. I mean, I can go on and name many, many more. And they're all great companies, extraordinary companies, right? But they're all still using the same old formula, same old platform, communicating through email. Some were adopting text messages. Some were attempting to incorporate video into their, into their platform, which was helpful because video is obviously much more engaging. It's much more compelling. And if you're a salesperson using any of those platforms, you want to incorporate video for the reasons we spoke about before. Nobody wants to read anything. But what we've found out by looking at the data was that if someone has to leave your video, someone who's actually interested in your product or service, you're a salesperson, you sent them a video about your product or service, they watched it. They're thinking, yeah, you know what, this is something that's cool, I like this, I want it. If they have to leave that video to communicate with you, to contact you, whether it's go to your website or call a phone number, you lose them. You lose 80% of the people actually interested in your product or service if they have to leave the video. So our concept was, well, how do we eliminate friction from that sales process? Allow people that are watching that video and in that moment, checkout counter at the supermarket mentality, right? That impulse buy propensity we all have, right? If we could leverage that into a sales tool. So now I'm watching your video that you sent me. I want it. If I could click right in that video and buy that product, my sales are going to go up. My conversion rates are going to go up. So that's what we set out to do, and that's what we did. So we created a product that is a CRM, captures the data from people interacting with those videos, feeds it into a CRM. It allows a salesperson to very quickly distinguish between a cold lead and a hot lead. It'll tell you in real time immediately, Dave Meltzer just watched your video. He watched it all the way through. He clicked on this. He watched it 3 times. That salesperson knows Dave Meltzer is a hot lead. And if you didn't click the buy it now button in the video, he's going to want to follow up with you because you clearly have expressed an interest in that content, whatever it was. Now, if you watched it for 5 seconds, you're probably not interested. He'll swipe the other way on screen and put you in his cold list, maybe follow up with you later. If I was using another platform, I would have sent out a bunch of these emails. Maybe some have video, some don't. And then I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks trying to follow up with every single person in that video, most of whom probably have no idea what I'm even talking about if I can even reach them. So when you take those components, those elements that I just described, which is what our existing Verb CRM platform is, what our clients are telling us is that they're getting 600, 1,000, 1,200% increases in conversion rates. So if you're a salesperson, and let's face it, most salespeople don't know how to sell. Most salespeople don't have the training. They don't have the skills. They don't have the experience. And selling is more of an innate capability, I think. Yes, you could train and you could learn and you can improve what you have, but if you don't have it to start with, you're not going to be successful at it. What this tool does is it allows anybody to sell because it's the video that's doing the selling, and it makes it so much easier. So retention rates go up, attrition rates go down among sales-based organizations. That's enormous cost savings for companies. Plus, because those people are now successful, revenue goes up for those companies. Everybody wins. So that's our Verb CRM platform. But now when you start to think about, well, what's next? Where do we go next? And again, paying attention to what salespeople were doing, people began to adopt live stream webinars promoting their products and services. And we're seeing a lot more of that. Obviously, when COVID kicked in, the whole world changed, right? Everything is now remote work, remote learning, remote everything. So you saw Zoom explode, and they're a great company. They deserve to explode. But everyone's adopting this live stream. Now, what else is happening? Next year, maybe sooner, 5G. 5G, I can't express what that really is going to mean. People are saying, so what, 5G? I already have great internet. And even 4G on some of your mobile devices is pretty good. But what's good? The download speed's really good, right? But when you think about the upload speed, so you may have a gigabit, download on your mobile device, right? But upload is still what, 20, 25? It's not great because most people are downloading content. But now we're going to see this paradigm shift to people live streaming themselves. And with 5G on their mobile devices, now you have the capability, the bandwidth, right, to live stream from anywhere, and a really high quality, robust live stream. So our idea was, with what we call Verb Live, is you've got all these people that are going to be live streaming themselves. Let's figure out how we could take that same interactive capability where I could add my interactive buy it now button to a pre-recorded video. I want to be able to do that in a live broadcast, in a live stream, and create live stream e-commerce, right? So every individual now could be their own QVC, right? Because I could live stream myself saying, today I'm selling my watch, my shirt, my shoes, my car, whatever it might be. And people will, and I'll post that link on social media. I'll send it out by text, email. You just click on that link, you're brought right into my live stream. And as you're watching, I could put these interactive buttons on the screen and people can click and buy while they're watching my live stream. They've complete game changer.
Yeah, it is. And I want to interrupt because I want to frame this for the entrepreneurs in the audience that I have, because there's several things, lessons about, number one, connecting the dots backwards on how you address a market to find a need. I've had huge alcohol companies, Ken Austin, for example, who did Avion, now has with McGregor, their new 12, number 12 Irish whiskey, but he reversed engineer like Sidney Frank did with Grey Goose, a new market. I've been, with Benioff and Salesforce and Upshot when we were first transcoding it with XML back in the Silicon Valley in my early internet days. But what you've been able to do without COVID, though, without the remote working, is to stimulate transition and share a vision in a more efficient, effective. But where you really win is the Home Depot example I give in statistical success. At Home Depot, there's 4 checkouts. There's the garden checkout, the consumer checkout, the pro contractor, and the auto checkout. They sell those warranties like Best Buy. You know, when you buy an appliance, that's where they make good money on the 2-3 year warranty. The number one sales spot out of the 4 checkouts that outdoes the other 3 to 1 is the automatic checkout for one reason. And it's the reason that Verb and Verb Live will be successful, you know, because I have the same sales background as you. That's my sweet spot as an eagle, as an expert, as a book writer. People don't ask. Watch my pitch show on Bloomberg, right? People won't ask. They will watch elevator pitch. I have 6 seasons. They'll hear me again and again. Hey man, you didn't ask. Well, the reason that the automatic checkout is so successful at selling is every time someone checks out, it says, would you like to buy a warranty? And guess what? They do. That buy button, that ask, most people are afraid to ask for what they want. They don't feel worthy and they can't receive. What Verb and Verb Live allows you to do, what's so impressive is people have done video funnels. They've done other things that work remote. No one's integrated it live, which is going to be huge. And I'll even take it the next step. Forget even capitalism. We're both philanthropists. You know, I want to get St. Jude and Unstoppable and the great charities because those people are so kind. They're super afraid to ask, right? They have the emotional attachment. You're sitting there crying over the kid with cancer. And I'm sitting in front of a billionaire looking at the executive from, you know, a great charity. I'm like, are you going to ask him? Now, the thing asks for itself and your statistical success is going to be astronomical, both recorded. Still, Verb Normal has great value, but Verb Live, especially because of what has happened in the acceleration of live content because of COVID, we've, you know, changed so quickly. It's an extraordinary thing. Why is it, though, in getting into the entrepreneur side, why is it that people just can't sell and ask? You've been around the same industries as I have. You've built businesses, charities. Why do you think people are afraid to ask, even when they believe in what they're talking about?
It comes down to, you know, fear of rejection. Everybody has it. Everybody has it to greater and lesser degrees, but you have it, whether it's, you know, not asking that girl for a date or not asking for the sale. You know, my team often hears me use an expression, you don't ask, you don't get. I mean, it's really what it comes down to, but it's that fear of rejection. And that's where someone using our platform really is able to succeed because it doesn't have to come out of their mouth. It's there on the screen. And charitable organizations and hopefully Dave, we're going to be able to work together on this because you're watching a video for whether it's St. Jude's, whatever, and I can tell you, I watch it. I want to donate right then and there. If I could click on the screen and make my donation and it's done, I would do it. And I think there's so many people that would do it. We need to make sure that this is in the hands of as many of those organizations as possible. But let me just shift gears for a minute because, and another stupid analogy that I give from time to time is Gretzky's, you know, let's skate to where it's going, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about the implications of Verb Live, you're going to have millions, potentially tens of millions of people over a period of time that will be creating their own live stream videos. They'll be shoppable videos. And I think if we were to go out a year and look back, what we would see is that these videos fell into perhaps, I don't know, maybe 10 categories. You'd have millions of videos of people cooking. They're cooking and they're showing people how to prepare a meal and giving them the opportunity to buy some of the utensils that they use, you know, pots and pans, whatever, or a recipe. That you'll have that. You'll have people that will be doing kids-related things, toy openings. You'll have children-related kinds of content. You'll have artists and musicians that will be performing, selling merch right through the video during their performance. And you'll see these different categories develop. why not curate that now? Why not take a good guess as to what those categories might be, create them in advance? Yeah, it'll evolve over time, and create the new version of TV. So now you've got the cooking channel, the travel channel, the music channel, the children's channel, sports. Sports will be phenomenal. You're watching the game. You could buy the jersey. You could buy the T-shirt, the cap while you're watching the game. You can click on the screen and respond to a poll. I mean, there's so many different things that you could do. You'll have these channels. That's where this is ultimately going to be. Except all that content on all those channels is shoppable. So what you're watching, people will develop content. They'll develop comedies, dramas, thrillers, stories that there's not going to be commercial interruptions. There's not going to be pre-roll. It's not like you're watching something on YouTube and just as you get into an interesting part, an ad pops up, which is annoying as can possibly be, right? You won't have to do that because you're monetizing by allowing people to purchase things that they're seeing in those videos. That's a future that, to me, is inevitable. So I'm making sure that we position our company to lead that. So when you think about, well, what's coming for Verb? Clearly right now, Verb Live is I think Verb Live is going to kill it. I mean, what we've got planned for it this year, next is going to be really, really interesting. But I'm always thinking about what's next, what's beyond that. So now we've got that. Where's that going to lead? What's likely to happen? What's the use case is going to be? And I believe it's going to be what I just described with this new TV. Maybe it's Verb TV. You know, there's a lot that we've got going on behind the scenes that we can't share yet. But I'm so excited, Dave, about what's going on, and I'm very excited about doing some of these things with you. In particular, because look, you're such a great presence, and the way you think about things, I'm really excited about that.
I appreciate it. Last question real quick. Coming from a similar background as you, there's only one resistance that people have when you have something that, you know, I would say it meets the Dave Meltzer test of, hey, can you see any reason you wouldn't want to do this? And I can't. And it just leaves the simple integration or systems integration that exists. How difficult is it to implement today?
Look, I've been involved in a lot of different companies, and I've been in companies that fortunately ultimately were successful, but we had to cultivate the market. We had to explain to people why you need this. Why is this important? One company, a company called Telex, we changed how telecom carriers connect to one another, and the initial reaction we had from carriers was, well, why do we need you to do this? AT&T could do this. Ultimately, it became that's how all the carriers connect today. So you have that kind of resistance. This completely different. People immediately understand the value of it. They immediately understand what this could mean. They immediately understand the implications of it. So unlike other things that I've done in the past, you don't have that resistance. In fact, what I have when I talk to people about it, and I know that you're gonna be the same exact way. You're gonna call me tomorrow and say, I can't stop thinking about this. Have you thought about doing it this way? And what about this? And this is another use case. You're gonna have 20 different things that you're gonna say, we could do it like this, we could do this. That's what I'm experiencing every day. That's my life right now. When I talk about what our company does and what we're planning to do, people come back and say, yes, absolutely, we can do this and this. And that is the most exciting thing as to the possibilities. So it's a different experience now for how we're bringing this to market.
Well, I'm blessed to see so many different deals, so many different companies, so many different entrepreneurs, philanthropreneurs, and you have checked all the boxes, Rory. I am so grateful for not only the solution that you're providing that will impact all of us and create more abundance for all of us and a greater ease of being able to participate with the content that we view, not only virtually, but in the material side of it, which I think is so important, the last mile. You really have a great connectivity to that, as well as helping other people. And I certainly am looking forward to working with you. You have taught me some great lessons as well about connecting the dots backwards and providing true value in a very efficient, effective way. And most importantly, I want everyone to go back and listen to how Rory articulates the quantitative value of Verb and Verb Live, because that's an art in itself. A lot of people have problems asking. My favorite football player, one of them is a guy most people don't know, Vincey Glenn. He played for 12 years in the league, but he worked for me in 3 different occasions. And his favorite line was, "Don't get unless you ask, Dave. You don't get." And he was my best sales guy. And he was a horrible salesperson, except for he was the best asker that I had. So he closed the most deals. And I think if you have a problem receiving, if you have a problem asking, if you're afraid of rejection, which is almost all of us, Verb and Verb Live is a great conduit in order to effectuate what you're trying to do. Absolute genius. I always say genius is the expression of God. So my friend Rory Cutaia, he is an expression of God. And more importantly, as the CEO of Verb, it will absolutely be a genius tool for everyone to use. Thank you so much for the lessons. This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.